Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel for another video. My name is Diana and I create cross stitch patterns under the name Diana Bloom Designs. I live here in the Canadian prairies with my husband, our two wonderful daughters, and our dog named Scout. So today I have a couple of pattern releases that I'm excited to share with you. I have two works in progresses to share, and then a little bit of life stuff, a little bit of things in the background, just some fun. So it should be a pretty concise video, a pretty standard video for me today. Also, happy November for everybody who's been waiting for truly cozy season. We had a very lovely and temperate fall, and in fact, are still having a lovely and temperate fall. We haven't had a single, frosty, snowfall yet. Knock on wood. I'm happy to put it off just a tiny bit longer, and then I think I'm honestly going to be happy to jump right into winter. It's very unlike me. We get very, very long and cold winters here. They are very dark. It's usually too cold. We get a lot of snow, but it's too cold to do anything with. Like, it's very hard. So, yeah, I found that I haven't always enjoyed winter, but this year I'm really looking forward to it. And I hope that you are too if you get winter where you are at this time of year. Okay, I'm going to jump right into the first thing. So, normally I would be telling you about my general release that is being launched today. But instead, I decided to launch a free pattern instead. I did a free pattern right before Christmas last year, and that it felt really good. It felt very festive and lovely and warm. And so I really wanted to get to do the same thing this year. But I am launching it just a little bit earlier so that there's more time to stitch it if people want to work on it this year. I'm gonna grab the flosses because I think I forgot them up over there. One sec. Luckily, I keep everything pretty close at hand. Okay. Set this one down for now. Okay. So I'll show you a picture first. The free pattern that's launching today is called The Stars Were Brightly Shining. And I'll hold up a picture here. So this is 119 by 140 on Roxy Flossco flosses and fabric. I really, really love this one. It features a splendid fairy wren. And the males are actually a much richer and much darker blue. But something called to me about the females this year with their very delicate coloring. I liked the grays with that little bit of blue and how it mixed together. And then I don't know what it was, but for when I thought about launching a free pattern this year, I really wanted something that was a little bit, had some like richer blues that really focused on blue and copper. I started looking up Christmas decorating ideas with blue and copper and really liked how rich it looked. And I'm a huge fan of using stars in Christmas decorating, so I thought it would be fun to have some of that in there as well. Of course, the name of the pattern is based on a line of A Christmas Carol that I really, really enjoy, "O Holy Night." It's a great one. I sing it a lot to my kids, especially during the Christmas season. So, what else can I tell you? Oh, yes, I had really wanted this to be sort of a darker pattern and something that featured, I don't know, something that maybe looked like a window, like we were looking out at a window at the stars. But I didn't want it necessarily to be on dark fabric or to have a ton of dark background stitching. So that led some challenges. So I created this frame that I really, really liked. And it was sort of to imply a window more than to look like one. I liked the idea of keeping things sort of geometric and sort of suggested. But as it came together, especially with the sort of quilting stars at the bottom, it looked to me like a Polaroid, which I love for winter. I feel like there's so many beautiful snapshot moments. And yeah, I think a Polaroid and just the idea of all those little pictures that you take during the winter and the Christmas season really made me smile. So unintentional, but something that was fun when I sort of realized it after. Yeah, I really hope you like this one. I think it's really pretty. It's not the biggest stitch, which is nice. You know, it's not overly stitch heavy. That bird is smaller than a lot of my other birds. So if you had wanted to stitch it this year, I feel like it's a fun start and not one of my more intense designs. I'll show you the colors. It does have quite a few colors, but you could sort of mix and match over dyes like the Roxy Floss goes with DMC. So again, I really just loved getting to focus on like all these beautiful blues. This blue features in the wings of the bird just to add a really bright pop of color. All the grays are sort of in the head and the back of the bird, and then these more richer blues are kind of in the wings and the tail. Super pretty. And then the darker blues are what features in the frame of the piece. I actually have like 3 near blacks in this piece, and I really considered cutting it down. But every time I tried, I felt that there was a place for each of them, so I put them all back. There's a brown, a green, and then a true kind of cool, just gray color. So these are the greens that make up the greenery. And then this is the blue for the berry. So it's a juniper branch and has these beautiful blueberries in it, which I thought would be nice because it ties the greenery in with the rest of the blues all over the piece. And then these are the colors that make up the stars. I just think those are so pretty. I really am so happy with this one. I love it, and I hope that you all do too. And so the way that my the way that my free patterns work is that they are all available on my Patreon, but there's no need to make an account. You don't have to sign in. You don't have to do anything. You follow the link to the page, and at the bottom, there's a download button. It's all very easy peasy. It was the easiest way I could find to launch free patterns. And so I hope that you are all able to get on there and download it. And it's not something that's going to be taken off of the Patreon page. It's just going to stay there and stay free. So there's no time constraint or worry in that way. But of course, I always recommend save everything to your computer because you never know with digital everything. It's always good to have a copy, I find. I continue to have copies of too many things though, and then you need extra hard drives. So take that with a grain of salt. The next thing I want to talk about is just to show you quickly the Patreon pattern that came out earlier this week. So this came out on the 1st, and I'm hoping all of my patrons have already had a chance to see it and download it. But just in case, I do love to mention it over here. I know that emails get sent out when Patreon posts go live, but I know I don't see every email that comes through my door. So plus it's fun to get to share it with you. So this month for November, when I drew way back in October, we got the ocellated turkey, which is not a bird that I'd ever heard of before, but wow, it's beautiful. I was telling my husband, it looks like if a peacock was a turkey. It's got these rich, incredible colors, but it's got that cozy, familiar shape of a turkey, if you will. Just a really, really pretty bird. And I like it with the tails up, but honestly, I really like it with the tails down as well. Just watching it walk around brings a lot of elegance to the bird. It's super pretty. But for me, I kind of wanted that classic, almost Thanksgiving look for this piece, just with it being a turkey launching in November. I know that a lot of my patrons are in the States and are celebrating Thanksgiving this month. So I'll show you Cozy Autumn Turkey. And so with this one, I really did want to focus on the idea of it being like autumnal and cozy. I've got a pumpkin in there for autumn. The border around was kind of very loosely inspired by quilt blocks. And I like the idea that it would feature the colors that were in the chart. I just really, really like the way this one came together. It was fun working on there's a lot of different sections in the turkey where you have different patterns and colors mixing together. And it was fun to find ways to blend colors especially without adding so many that it was unreasonable. So finding a way to kind of use the colors that you have to create that overall look was really wonderful. And this one is 175 by 175, again with Roxy Flosco Floss and Fabrics. I'll show you the colors for this one. I'm really excited about the colors. This was so fun to pull for. I still can't quite believe it, but they're all in there. Even like, I think this pink isn't used too much. It's mostly in the border and in the legs of the bird, I think. So some are, used more than others, but um, they were all needed to create the piece, and they really, I think, create such a fun palette for something that doesn't look like it would be overly colorful. And then again, that's why I really wanted to feature all of the colors in the border and to have it where it's switching the colors and featuring them all the way around, just to get to really use them and highlight them. Yeah, I love the colors for this one. It's so pretty. So I hope you like that too. Put this to the side. And then I'll show you. We did the draw as well earlier this week for the bird of the month for next month. So December's bird is going to be the gray partridge. And specifically, the person who submitted that suggestion mentioned like partridge in a pear tree. And I was like, you know what? We're going to run with it. Why not? I was really, really excited when this one was drawn. I'll show you a picture of a gray partridge. They are so cute. It kind of has like a quail look to me. Like when I think partridge, I think the grouse that I've seen close to me. And the first time I saw a grouse, it really frightened me. I must have gotten really close to its nest. I didn't know how to describe it. We were on a hike and I came home and told my dad I was chased by a lizard chicken and that it tried to eat me. And I was pretty sure that like it almost succeeded. And he laughed at me for a really long time. And he was like, that was a grouse, like a partridge chased you. I was like 17 or 18. So he really thought I maybe should have been a little braver to it, but it was really surprising. So when you think like lizard chicken and then like adorable gray partridge, I was surprised. I'm like, oh, this is a very cute bird. And I'm very excited to get to design with it. So given that it has beautiful grays and then it's got this, again, kind of coppery color, and then the idea of like partridge in a pear tree, I really wanted to do something maybe like golden, olive, coppery tones. So getting away from like how I just did the navy and copper, but moving to like much lighter and brighter, very golden, just with olives and copper. I feel like I've seen that a lot recently in Christmas decorating. And it's just a color palette I really, really like. I did do a little bit of research, and partridges don't often land in trees, apparently. Although my husband and I were like, I'm sure that they do, but they said online that they really don't, that they fly and then they much, much rather to be on the ground. So I was like, okay, I don't really want to do a picture of the bird in the tree. And I could not find one single picture of a gray partridge in a tree. So I was like, I'm putting the bird on the ground. So then I looked up pear trees, and they very often have branches that are hanging quite low with fruit. So I was like, well, I could do a branch that's just come down quite far. And I know my grandparents have an apple tree, and that happens too, where the branches get quite low, right? So I wanted to put the partridge on the ground and have pears around it. This is what I was all thinking yesterday. Anyways, I thought I'd show you a quick sketch of what it's looking like right at this very moment. I know we still have the whole month away, but just as a very starting point. Oh, and I looked up too, and there are pears that fruit in December. I was like, I'm not sure that that would be a thing. Could we pick pears in December? But apparently, yes, even in zone 4. So, fun fact. Didn't know that. So that's how our little partridge buddy is looking. These were some of the earlier kind of looks, and that's sort of where I landed. It still needs some filling out and everything, but that's kind of the overall shape. It looks like he has an eyebrow. I think that was a line to measure something. He's not going to have an eyebrow. Yeah, that's how it's looking. I'm really happy with it. I'm very excited. I like when things could have been possible. So the idea that probably it would have been on the ground, but sure, it could have been near a pear tree. That pear tree could have fruited in the winter time, so I can show snow around it, and it's not like, does that make sense? I like that it could be possible. We could see this out in the wild. Yeah, and I hope you like this sketch so far. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is whips. I'm gonna flip my card here. So I've been stitching on my own design, Merry Berry Christmas, for a little while now. I can't remember when I switched over. So I stitched Carolina model and sent it off to Evertote before the launch. And then sort of immediately before the launch, I started, so that would have been, I don't know, at the start of October, the end of September. I started my own model for that. I'm about 70% done now, and I'm really excited. I do stitch, not monogamously, but like pretty close, because I don't really have a lot of stitching time. So it's my best chance to really get a lot of progress on something is if I really focus on it. So this has really been my focus, at least for the entire month of October, going into November. And I'm really excited with how it's going. I really think I'm going to get it done before Christmas, and then I'll get to hang it up, which I think will be so nice. I already have the frame for it, so it should be pretty easy going. So that's kind of at the 70% mark. I've done a lot of the fill in on that birdhouse, which is very easy for me to just walk up and put a few stitches in because I don't have to count anything. But truly, I'm so excited to get back into like the greenery at the bottom. That is, I really like stitching like that where you're not changing colors all the time, but it feels like you're putting in different elements. And then very excited to do the branch that that top bird is holding. I think that's going to be so cute. Not that I say it like I haven't stitched it before. Definitely have. But I'm really excited for this one. I'm very happy with the way that it's coming together. I feel like it's not taking over long. I was worried that kind of like second sock syndrome, I was worried I would lag a little bit on the second one, but we're keeping good time with it. And I think that'll be really nice to get done. I want to get back to that Northern Flicker one that I did. A Flicker of Fall. I really want to get back to that one. There's a little house in the bottom that I think is really sweet, and I'm excited to stitch up and see how it looks stitched. Another thing that I've noticed is I'm really missing and craving personal stitching. I used to stitch on projects for fun, like we all do. But I've been trying to stitch more of my own models. I don't have a model for everything, and haven't felt like it was the right time yet to look into model stitching. So I just stitch as many as I can. But I thought, I'm sort of missing the hobby part of it, the part where I just got to stitch things for fun. And so I thought, like, let's change it up. Let's make one day. So I was I was calling it Selfish Stitching Sunday. But I'm sort of rephrasing in my head to personal stitching. It's like, selfish knitting. It's like there's nothing selfish about it in particular, but what we mean is we're doing it for ourselves, right? So these past 2 Sundays, I worked on Angelina Angot 1889. And what a beautiful chart. I love that so much. And I really hadn't had the chance. I had one outline line for the border, and that was it. And I really wanted to see how the colors looked together. And I love that alphabet. So I'll show you how far I got. Again, I don't have very much time to stitch in one day. So even though this was 2 Sundays, you're probably going to be shocked. So I already had the line in for the border. But I was so happy to get to put in some of those colors, some of those leaves. I finished one of the flowers, and I just love getting to see it all together. And then I was committed to doing one letter. So I did that O that was the closest to where I was on the border. And I'm so happy with it. It really put a fire under me to want to work on this. I think this will be my Sunday focus piece for a while. I'll get in a little closer. So one of those flowers has 4 colors in it. And I can really see why. I think it makes such an impact to have all 4 of those mixing together. But one thing I noticed was how high contrast they are. So it's like a very dark green, a very light green, a neutral brown. Like it's not the warm brown that's in the border or the warm brown that's in the alphabet. And I thought, I wonder why the original stitcher 100 years ago chose to put that kind of cooler tone brown in there, but once you see it mixed with the pink, it all comes together. It looks so beautiful. And I love the letters. I think that alphabet is going to be gorgeous. So I can't wait. You know, I think I probably will continue to like, one Sunday I'll really focus on the border. The next Sunday I'll really focus on the letter. And like, if I keep going that way, it'll take me a very long time to finish this piece, but it will ever get done. Whereas I've had this, half started where I was like, should I even continue? I have so little done for months now. So yes, it's going to be really, really slow going, but it does give me something to look forward to on the weekends, and it will ever get done this way. There's a quote that I really like. It doesn't really apply here, but I just really like it. It talks about moving forward and not having to like jump to the end. And it's something like, if you drive with your headlights on, you only get to see so many feet in front of you, but you can make the whole journey that way. You don't always have to see to the end. As long as you can see what's in front of you and you can make choices and decisions based on what's right in front of you, you can get the whole way along that way. Yeah, I just really like that quote because I used to try to see the whole way along. Oh, I want to show you my mug. I've been reading a lot more, and I was telling my sister-in-law this, and I think she was gifted this mug at some point, and it just didn't resonate with her. And she and I are both quite minimal people. We like our things, but we don't want the extra things. So we welcome all of the things, just not the ones that don't really speak to us. So I don't know if that's minimal, but hey ho, it works out. The mug didn't really speak to her. She showed it to me. I love it. I've been using it quite often, and it felt very autumnal to me, very cozy for fall. And truly, I've been reading so much. My sister and I sort of have our 2-person book club with the occasional crossover with my husband where he reads a little bit heavier books than I do, so I try to read his books. I would like to give that more of an effort. Also, he edits his videos. Thanks, honey. But he sometimes will read mine too. There's a little bit of crossover, but my sister and I are dedicated to the book club. She will buy things on audiobooks so that I can listen to them because I don't have a lot of time to like sit and read. But that's another thing I've been trying to do is to stop multitasking so much because I feel like multitasking, you really are just divided. So I do like listening to audiobooks while I'm working on PDFs or while I'm doing stitching, but I've been trying to, you know, slow down a little bit, I guess is really what it is. Sorry, I have gone off on quite the tangent. We're almost more into life stuff at this point, I guess. And I will tell you, I had kind of wanted to tell you about the book that I'm reading, so I'm going to quickly show that to you. So, one thing that I've been really enjoying lately is reading books in print. Normally, I would either read like the Kindle version, like an e-reader version, so that I can try to stitch or knit at the same time and I don't have to hold the book open. Or prop it up while you're cleaning or something, kind of read a little and clean. And this is what I'm saying, like I'm kind of moving away from multitasking because I think it's really wearing me out. So instead I'm like, I'm gonna knit dedicatedly or stitch dedicatedly for this little bit and then read for a little bit and just separate them. So books on paper has been helping me with that because you cannot multitask. And I've been reading this one. So it is called Caraval. I got this wintry edition. It was a very, very good price on Amazon, and I just thought it was really beautiful. It's got red pages. It's been a really good book so far. I got kind of mixed reviews. It is a YA book, which I wasn't sure how that would influence the writing style. It's beautiful. It's really, really good. I'm loving it. It's kind of one of those things like you read, or if you watch a movie that's like acceptable for all ages, it doesn't mean it's made for children kind of thing, although sometimes it is. But I've really, really been liking this one. It's kind of got like a mystery to it. Yeah, it's about they kind of go into this game that you're living for 5 days. And it's just really, really cool. It's a lot of mystery, a lot of like what's real, what's not real. Very kind of Alice in Wonderland vibes. And I don't know, it's just stunning. It's been really nice to sit and read and hold a book. And I've been loving that. We've also, my sister and I have been listening to the Throne of Glass series, which I read a few years ago, but she had not yet read. So she's currently reading it, and I am listening to the audiobooks while I stitch or tidy the house. And that's been working really, really well. And then I also wanted to kind of give a shout out, like just thinking about personal stitching, to some of the charts that I'm really, really excited about, but don't even know if I'll get to them, thinking of how many years Angelina Angot 1889 is going to take me at this pace. But ones that I'm so ready to start anyways. I was telling my husband, like, I don't know if I can hold back on these ones. So we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I need to find more stitching time in the day. I think I'm going to try to sit instead with the big frames, like with a hoop on the couch, and see if I can kind of sneak in more time, like sitting next to my girls. If I sit with the frame, it's too enticing and they just grab it right away. So that doesn't work, but they're getting better. It used to be the same if I tried to sit and chart, they would grab my iPad. So now they ask for it, but they don't grab it immediately. But yeah, it's a bit tricky. But so the charts that are tempting me to the point that I might have to start them anyways is There's Always Room by Maximum Cross Stitch. This one warms my heart so much. And I actually, before I started designing, I sort of came back into stitching. And that's one of the charts that really had me hooked, where I was like, yes, this is the right place for me. This is how I want to be doing my crafting, is cross stitch. The chart is so beautiful. The colors are so gorgeous. I love the little blue bird in the center as a focal point. It's got this gorgeous house. But it's the sentiment that gets me. It says there's always room at the table. And I feel like that's just how I want my house to feel. Like I want to just have that feeling. We get to host Thanksgiving now, and that's how I always want our dinners to feel. And like I said, just our home as a whole. When we bought this house, my husband and I talked about how we always wanted to have like the back door kind of open and ready if like family just want to pop by or anything, and just make it feel like a very welcome place. So this one really speaks to me, and I'm very excited to get to stitch it. I had sort of forgotten about this one until Caroline mentioned it in one of her videos recently. And wow, it was crazy. I don't know what it was, but I guess because I hadn't really seen it since I started stitching, but hadn't really been designing yet, hadn't sort of like, I've really changed my life and focused it around cross stitch, which has been amazing. So I guess that feels like a different time, you know? So getting to see it and remember it, I'm just so keen, and I'm pretty ready to start it immediately. Um, and then there was another chart. What was it called? Oh, Wildflowers Field by a Dutch stitcher. This is different because this is a brand new chart, and it's honestly, I just found it really intriguing. She charted cross stitch that was on the arm of a chair, and I think possibly the back of a chair in a museum. It looks really, really beautiful, very painterly, and I feel like I could just learn a lot by stitching it. I like to work in a way that's a little bit painterly, so getting to see how people would have done things. Like I think they said that this chair, it was at least 100 years old when I heard people speak of it. So, I don't know, yeah, I feel like there's a lot to learn there, and it was also just stunning. It would look beautiful. I'd be very, very excited to stitch that one. Got two more that are really, like, calling me right now. One is called This Happy Morning by Plum Street Samplers, and it's again the sentiment that gets me on this one. It says, "Yes, Lord, we greet thee, born this happy morning." And that just feels like Christmas morning to me. I love it so much. And I want to stitch this chart on a pillow that I can curl up with on the couch so much. And I think it would be just the most beautiful decoration for Christmas. Yeah, I want my girls to grow up with that, as a decoration in their home. I love it so much. I think it's beautiful. And then the last chart on my list, I feel is probably on many of our lists right now. It's the 2026 Stitch Along from Modern Folk Embroidery. I think he called it Little Acorns. It is stunning. And again, I love the sentiment. He has used a couple lines from a poem that talks about how the little impacts that we can make as people can have a ripple effect and can have a greater impact on the world. But again, it talks about how mighty oaks grow from little acorns, and that really makes me think of my children, how they're so small right now, but they're going to grow up into their whole adult selves one day. And we don't even know yet the ways that they'll be able to make change and impact the world and impact other people in their lives. um, yeah, I don't know. This one really, really, really speaks to me. It's really beautiful. And I love the idea too, just logistically, of stitching a monochromatic piece. I've never really done that. And I think that it would be very satisfying. I used to draw a lot with pen and ink, and I liked that it was one color and just textures built up on top of each other to create an image. And I feel like this is the same, where it's, it's one color and you use different images and then denser sections and lighter sections to create that contrast. And it's just really beautiful. So I was excited to share those with you today because they were the 4 things that I wish I could show you as new starts, basically. This is my not new start section. That's what I should call it next time. This time I didn't call it anything at all. We just ran right into it. Um, but yeah, those are the ones that I wish I could show you as new starts today. I hope you're all having a wonderful Friday morning. I feel like this was a little bit of a rambly one for me. I must have had a very good sleep. I hope that you all did as well, and that you're having a wonderful Friday and that you have a wonderful weekend planned ahead of you. I will talk to you all soon. I should probably get going. This is a longer one for me. Yeah, have a great day, guys. Happy crafting. Happy weekend.